Hey, so welcome back. I'm Larry L. Lifkins, and I'm the author of A Woman with Vision, How to Fulfill the Goals and Dreams that God has given you. Right? So how do we move from intention to execution, and how do we make all of those things that God has shown us a reality? Right? So if you want to grab a copy of my book, you can do so at awomanwithvision.com. Now in this video, we're going to get into the nitty-gritty process that I used once I kind of brainstormed my content overall. How did I prioritize that? How did I chunk it up so that then I had some chapters and some framework for my book? So in another video, I showed you kind of the 3-category framework that I use to get stuff out of my head and onto paper. So the first column was just do a brain dump for 5 to 10 minutes. What is everything that you know, everything that you've ever said around that particular topic? Then the middle column was, what are the questions that people ask you, right? Over and over and over and over again, right? Put that in the middle column. And then the third column was, what challenges do people have as it relates to the topic that you are going to be writing about? And once you do that, it should maybe take you 15, 20 minutes. This whole paper should be full. And so what I did personally is once I took that sheet of paper, that poster board in my case, I went through and started putting things together, right? So for example, if I wrote down time management, procrastination, and time blocking, well, those go hand in hand. So I put those topics together, right? So once I took that sheet of paper, I started chunking similar topics together so that I could see if there were common themes and common threads, right? So when I was doing mine, I looked for like 10 to 13 different categories of things that went together and started grouping things together. Again, I'm not organizing it start to finish. I haven't created my table of contents at this point. I'm just trying to organize the content that I have. Now, you might be nervous if you didn't fill up your poster board and you go, well, I don't have a lot of stuff to work with. That is okay. You just need enough to start. Trust me, you just need enough to start. And another kind of hack that you can do in the event that you don't feel like you have enough content, do a social media post. Hey, what are your biggest challenges around XYZ? Hey, what's getting in the way of you being able to do XYZ? Whatever questions would generate some additional content, you can do real time with the people that are already following you on social media, whether that's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, doesn't matter, right? You can always get additional content, right? So once I started chunking mine up, I found that I had, I think, 13 different groupings. Right, so then I took those groupings and figure out what was the overall theme, right, that I could talk about. So using the example of time management, procrastination, time blocking, for example, well, that chunk became time management or dealing with time. And then I put those other little pieces underneath it because I knew that when I was writing that particular chapter or around that particular content, I knew that I could flow right now because the content was organized. Again, it's also important if you have personal stories that you can relate or incorporate, that helps you with additional content as well. All right, so what you'll do, organize it between 10 to 13 different chunks of information. And then once you do that, we're going to blow out your content even more, right? So another thing that I did is called mind mapping. So I had, let's say time management was my section, and I had, let's say, 3 or 4 sub-points underneath that. But what I would do to help me come up with additional content is I did mind mapping. So mind mapping, and you could use this for so much stuff, is when you take a sheet of paper and you write your topic, like your core piece of topic that you want to focus on, and then you come up with, once again, all of the things that you could think of as it relates to that topic. So it might be statistics, quotes, personal stories. Right? It might be just challenges that people have around time management. So it could be learning how to prioritize. We can go back to time blocking. Time management, also people try to get so much done in a day. So really narrowing things down. What else, what other challenges do people have with time management? Actually completing things. There's also a concept called Parkinson's Law that I know about as it relates to time management. Another thing, a lot of times when people say they don't have time, their real issue is that they don't have focus and they're all over the place. So now that's the real issue. Time management could be they're not managing their time. So they're not using a calendar, they're not using reminders, they're not using a planner, right? So I could fill this up. Now I've taken one chapter and blown that out to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and I could probably fill this up with 10 different things that I could talk about in that chapter alone. Right? So this is really one of those things where it stretches you. And I would encourage you, and you will notice what I did, I put the marks on the outside before I start coming up with the content. Right? And that's because when I have 3 other blank spaces, your mind wants to fill out these other 3. So it encourages you to keep coming up with ideas and content versus if I just wrote them as I thought about them. So you want to pick your topic. So again, in my case, it was time management. Put 10 to 13 different lines on the outside, and it will force you to challenge yourself to come up with additional content. Again, you can always go to social media, put a post out there, get some live feedback from people that will help you fill the rest of this out, and you don't have to tell them. Actually, I wouldn't tell them why you're asking, but you could tell them, like, hey guys, I'm writing a book and one of my topics is time management. Tell me, what are your biggest challenges in managing your time, or what gets in the way of you being able to execute your goals, or what do you know, if there's one question that I could answer for you about time management, what would that question be? Whatever, right? That's just some examples. But use that mind mapping to blow out this chapter. So you will do that for the rest of your chunks, right? So in my case, I had 13 chunks. Those chunks became my chapters, and I blew each one out. I didn't do them all at once. I picked a chapter to start writing about, and then I would blow it out, write it, go to the second chapter, blow it out, write it, and continue on until I finished the book. Right? So hopefully that's helpful in helping you figure out how do you come up with additional content without judging what you're coming up with. Right? Because a lot of times we're judging what we're coming up with without realizing this is just brainstorming. Right? This is just getting ideas on paper. And then we can organize it in a way that helps us flow and really write out that chapter and write a cohesive book. All right? So let me know in the comments if that was helpful. Also, let me know if you have any questions that you don't see a video for. And once again, much success.